We need peace, we choose freedom. We need peace, we choose freedom. There was a nation living in peace and unity. Yeah. They are people with love and harmony. Oh, yeah. They saw greatness rise up to its purity. With another people of different culture, a different heritage, bias and oppressive. Oh, I see. A nation from trigger of Africa, rising with strength and might and power. In due time, nobody gonna praise us. Rather, you all gonna embrace her. With your flag, with your flag, with your flag, with your flag. Oh yeah. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our home. Oh yeah, Biafra is our home. Oh, it's my home. Yeah, Biafra is our home.
I reminisce way back 1967. Death toll on the blood couldn't count them even. Mama screaming, child squealing, pops on the ground. 2.5 years, over 3 million's gone. Why? Cause we asked for our freedom, and we're going back to our sovereign kingdom. They shut us down when we cried, the world said nothing. Sitting back in the crib, watching our suffering. Should I talk about the planes dropping shells like rain? Suka had the first taste of a hero's blood. Abagana Zobuni wave was stronger than flood, but the juke is too strong and fought them off on the chart. Thought the bloodshed's gone, then it came again. 216 and the massacre, it started again. So bloody name, I couldn't cry tears. Blood dripping down my eyes, water in my veins. We died trying to fight the cause and we're trying to break him. It's our freedom, but the world was against us.
Wave your flag over Africa. Welcome people of Biafra. Wave your flag over all the world. See those people of Zion is here.
It is the nation that the Lord has chosen for the people of Zion. It is the nation that the Lord has chosen for the people of Zion.
We need peace, we choose freedom. We need peace, we choose freedom. Yeah. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our home. I see the rising sun from Africa. Oh, this is sign of victory. Oh, yeah. I see future in Africa. Oh, yeah. People of Biafra. See light shining on the world. Oh, yeah.
What's that marathon? We're not fighting each other. We know where we're going. We're going to get Biafra. There is nothing anybody can do about it. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. I need them to understand this. We've crossed the Rubicon, the point of no return. There is nothing anybody can do. If I'm alive, if I'm dead, if I'm wherever I may be, Biafra will come. If I'm dead, it's even better because it will come far more quicker. I can assure you. If Biafra is fighting for you, no one will touch your property. If you're fighting alone, you're bound to lose it. So Biafra is the best. We will become the 16th member country of ECOWAS. If Nigeria doesn't release those properties, then we'll take them to court and we'll get them back. Even twice the value. The Jews had investments all over the world. Most of the priceless artifacts and paintings belong to many families in Germany. It was stolen by the Nazi Party. Do you know that? Eventually they got everything back with compensation on top of it. That's what we're going to do. If you touch our investments, we'll come back for you. And we'll know where we can get it from. So there is nothing for anyone to worry about. It's only if I'm not stopping you from being a Nigerian, if you are born on the streets of Lagos and you want to be a Lagosian and your name is Adamma, oh well and good. There's no problem.
Onye si na agata anya ahụhụ ma ọ bụ na anyị fe arụsị anyị wee na-efe arụsị iwe were iwe gị na ọmụma gị wee bịa leta anyị ụmụ anyị wee na-anwụsị ụfọdụ nọ n'ụzọ ije ha anaghị alọta ụlọ ọzọ nne na nna wee na-ata ahụhụ wee na-ata ikikere eze nwaanyị konye ka ọ gaa ubi ga arụ ọrụ Fulani chiri ehi bata ebe ala gị n'iyi okwu ebepụ ya isi anyị bụ ka anyị kpọpụ onye nwe anyị n'ugwu Awụsa ahụ ejide anyị wee gbuo ihe ọ bụ anyị mara aka n'ime ha si maka ha aga n'ihu elekwa ọdụ ụgbọ mmiri n'igwe ọcha bụ ememiri ọya nke dị na Kalaba otu aka ahụ anyị na-ala nsọ ebe Biafra bụ ndị kọstọm sokwenye anyị n'etiti anyị anọghị n'ime mmiri kama kọstọm jiri ebe niile ha wee na-ata anyị ahụhụ anyị kwuo ekwesịpụta anyị ka kpọchie anyị kwuo ekwesịpụta anyị ka gbagbuo anyị onye nwe anyị na Chineke na nke bi n'igwe ọ bụ ụzọ dị agha ka isi na-ebu ndị iro anyị n'anya wee karịa ndị nke gị akwa anyị bụ ụmụ Chineke akwa ọba aha anyị ka anyị na-aza akwa ọba anyị nwe na-aza ike Chukwu akwa ọba anyị nwe na-aza amara Chineke akwa ọba anyị nwe na-aza Chisom akwa ọba anyị nwe na-aza Chizoba nna nke dị nsọ onye ime eluigwe dịka otu onye iro dị na anyị bụ ụmụ gị bịa ka iwe zọpụta anyị bịa ka iwe napụta anyị n'aka ọjọọ ihe bịa ka iwe lụọrọ anyị ọgụ bịa ka iwe tetu ozu ọ bụ ọkọwa mgbe emilere Goliath Chineke nna nke igwe ruo ememila Fero site otu a mee ka Fero ka ọ guzo n'ihu ụmụ ndị anyị ga-ebite o wee taa akọkọ igiri ọtọ ọzọ ị ga na-edu anyị n'ụzọ niile nke ezi omume ọ bụla adịghị na anyị na-aga ndagwurugwu onyinye ọnwụ ọ bụ nwa bụ ekekere n'igwe n'ụwa onye ọbụla kere gị n'oge mmalite n'oge ọgwụgwụ kama anyị nwe anyị gwa anọkpa ahụ ofu ụbọchị anyị ga-anwụ n'ezie kama ma akpọ na okwu gị na-anọgide ego mgbe ebighị ebi ọ bụ ya mere anyị ji were gị n'anya isi anyị wee na-asị nna nke dị nsọ bịa ka iwe gosi anyị Biafra na ndụ na-abụghị n'ọnwụ bịa ka iwe mee ka ebe gị na amara gị wee kpuchiri anyị ka uwe bịa ka iwe zọpụta ndị nke gị bịa ka iwe mee ka Biafra wee bịa ka anyị na-ewetụta na nsọpụrụ na ịja mma site n'aha gị onye bụ Chukwu nke abịa ma
Welcome. Thank you for joining us on this very evening section. I appreciate every one of you. Remember, what we do in the evening is always a revision of what is happening and what we have done in the morning. We had our morning program, and this is the evening section. In this very evening section, we are visiting all the old interview of our Supreme Leader Mazin Nandekano and our Prime Minister Mazin Simon Ekpa. These things are very important because it is clear that Nigeria has broken into pieces. Nigeria has ended. Nigeria has failed. No matter how they continue to manage it, continue to deceive you and every other person, Nigeria is irredeemable. And this warning has come not now, not yesterday, long ago. Mazin Nandekano and so many other voices have warned about the time that we're in, but nobody listened. Mazin Simon Ekpa warned about this time, nobody listened. But today, finally, Nigeria is bleeding. The system of Nigeria is broken. When you look at the topic and see broken system, bleeding people, why Nigeria must be broken up now. There is no other time that is much right than now to break up the contraption called Nigeria. Peaceful breakup, peaceful separation. Everybody go their separate ways. This is the best time to do that. We have seen several videos where even lawmakers in the United States are making that suggestion. calling Nigeria to wake up, or else there will be a very destructive breakup, violent breakup. None of us is asking for a violent breakup. We are not playing for a violent breakup. We have gone through that before. We don't want to go through it again. But is breakup going to happen? It is going to happen. Is violent breakup the only option? No. But if that is the option Nigerian government choose, what shall we do? Do we have any other choice? As for the breakup of Nigeria, it is mandatory that it will happen. There is nothing you can do. The more they continue to postpone it, the more it draws closer. This warning didn't start yesterday. This warning didn't start today. This warning has been coming long from Mazen Nandekan to officials of Nigerian government, to one Nigerianists. Even in the conventional media, we have had people talk about the breakup of Nigeria as the only solution. But for one reason or the other, for economic interests of the West, they don't want to support it. For one selfish interest or the other, some people are reluctant in talking about it. The more you continue to postpone this solution, the more you continue to give opportunity for lives to be lost. And I ask, how many more people need to die in Nigeria before the right thing will be done? How many lives do you want to be wasted before the right thing to be done? How many more people do you want to die? I am asking, how many more people do you think that have to die before the right thing is done in Nigeria? No matter what they do, no matter how they pretend. The only solution in the contraption called Nigeria remains a breakup. It's either you have a violent breakup or a peaceful breakup. None of us is calling for violence. We are calling for a peaceful breakup of the contraption called Nigeria. Peaceful breakup. But for one reason or the other, people do not want to listen to that peaceful breakup. But whether you listen or you don't listen, it doesn't change anything. Nigeria is going to break up. Everybody should prepare themselves. Whether you are indigenous person or not, people should prepare, because it is going to happen. Whether you like it or not, it's going to happen. So wherever you are watching this program today, continue to prepare yourself. Whether you are a Biafran, you are from Yoruba land, you are from Hausa, you are the Middle Belt, prepare yourself for what is coming. Nobody's going to save you. Only you can save yourself. Only you can save yourself wherever you belong. Look at your people and find out what they are doing to defend themselves and join them. Because the violent breakup of Nigeria is coming. We don't pray for that. We don't ask for violence. We are asking for a peaceful disintegration. But Nigeria have refused to see reason. What is coming is heavy. And when it comes, everybody is going to face the consequence. I want us to listen to this very program. This was an interview that was granted to Mazi Nandekan by Dr. Masanga. An interview that was given to Mazi Nandekan by Dr. Masanga. I want us to listen to this interview and hear what was said and what was discussed. You must pay attention to every single thing they say, because it has a lot to reflect in what we are doing today and the present day. It is important. That is why you need to pay attention. Pay attention so that you will not be deceived. Let us listen to this message. This very interview that was granted to Mazin Nanakan about Masanga. We are going to learn a lot from it. We are going back to bring memories, return memories, for you to know where we are coming from and where we are going and why what is happening today is happening. Let us listen and hear what Dr. Mazanga had to say.
The truth is that there is no Nigeria anymore. And if Africans are waiting for Nigeria, and they go to AU and they say, we have Nigeria, we have Buhari, and maybe we have Buhari 6.1 feet, but we don't have Nigeria. Have no good words. His Excellency, President Buhari, has to pull up his socks. We are crying for the Nigerians, for the state of Nigeria. It is collapsing. The killings, the murder, the rape, the defilement, the destruction of property, the slaughter of youth, because of one thing they ask for, freedom to express themselves, is what makes me very upset. But let me cool down and I come to my guest. My guest today is Mr. Mazi Namdu Khan, the leader of indigenous people of Biafra. Welcome to the show, Mr. Namdu Khan.
Thank you very much, sir, and thank you for having me on your wonderful program today. It's an honor. I've been looking forward to for a very long time. So for many years you've been watching, and I'm glad to be here today.
Thank you very much. Today we are honored, and we want to start off by giving you a chance for us to know you, because many of my people in Kenya, and as you are aware, Kenya is a member, is the chairperson of Africa Peace Security Council. The authorities in this country, Kenya, are watching. They want to know the difficulties that you have. Two, Kenya also has a lot of Nigerian refugees who have come to Kenya to apply for asylum, especially from the southeast of the Biafran area. They are here, and we should not keep quiet and tell lies. There are many here. They want to know in East Africa, in Uganda, in Tanzania, in Zimbabwe. I found very many of them. Zimbabwe has given them a lot of asylum. We want to know you. Who are you, sir?
I am Mazi Namdu Khan, the leader of the Indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. I represent every aspiration and hope that over 70 million people harbor all over the world. Our job is to restore Biafra in peace and not in pieces by seeking a very simple route via a human supervised referendum, or place without as the case may be. We are here to restore our land to where it was before the white man came. What we are doing is nothing against Nigeria per se. What we are trying to say is that Nigeria, as presently constituted, is not working, and we are doing all we can to try to raise the levels of human development, of our understanding, education, health sector, economy, and all the rest of it. If we continue to remain in Nigeria, not just are we going to suffer, but the whole continent of Africa is going to suffer as a result, as a consequence of the ineptitude, the corruption, the backwardness, the retrogressive mindset of the people who are presently in charge of that very place. Initially, most people tend to see us as not being Pan-Africanists. I am a Pan-Africanist. I believe in the unity of the African states. My preference would be for Africa to have one nation, one government, one people, even one language if it is possible. I am a subscriber to the very fine influence of Kiswahili amongst the people of East Africa. And I wouldn't mind that where to be lingua franca for Sub-Saharan Africa. I don't mind at all. But we must get ready, we must face facts. We as Africans are tribal by nature, we are ethnic by nature. That is why every Christmas, every Easter, every celebration that we have, we go back to where we come from. We go to our villages, we go to our town. That is who we are, and we're not going to deny that. What we are trying to do is to reassert who we are before the white man came and destroyed every vestige of honor and dignity that we once had. And in Biafra, we are going to restore that. And from Biafra, the rest of Black Africa will also be free. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. for explaining the position of Pan-Africanism, because critics talk about, as much as we are Pan-African station, we always talk about Pan-African unity. But I've argued my case before the AU, and they say you cannot talk of Pan-African unity. One part of Africa is bleeding. How that cannot be? In Nigeria, there's one part bleeding. In Gabon, Cameroon, there's one part bleeding. We can't talk about Pan-African and leave people who are bleeding. I am happy that you have touched the word Pan-Africanism. Many Africans, including your former leaders, have said Nigeria needs rearrangement. I picked something from you. I want to see this rearrangement. What is this? Babangida, former President Babangida said Nigeria needs rearrangement because it can't work anymore. The marriage cannot work. It is true that the marriage cannot work. It is true that the people, the Igbo, are discriminated. When they go to Abuja, they are told to go home. Well, yet the home is Nigeria. Abuja is Nigeria. I've done investigative work undercover, and I've discovered all these things are not being told by you. But I've been with my Nigerian people who have actually ended up being discriminated in their own country. So given this scenario, I want to find out from you, from what perspective do you think Africa should come in, the whole of Africa should come in to bring the plight of the Biafran people, the indigenous people, whom you have been fighting for? How do we come in as Pan-Africans?
How you can come in is by doing what very courageous leaders in Africa did in relation to the case of South Sudan. Because in the case of Nigeria, the center can no longer hold. Everyone knows, the whole world is aware of the fact that we are ideologically, psychologically, culturally, religiously, and socially diverse. There is no meeting point. It's a very good thing that you talked about East Africa, for instance. In East Africa, there is some semblance of cohesion because Kiswahili is the lingua franca. Perhaps somebody from Uganda may understand somebody, or some people from Tanzania. Some Tanzanians may be able to understand somebody, let's say, from Rwanda, because they speak the same language, they have the same understanding. So that is the basis for building something called the national cohesion. In the case of Nigeria, that is conspicuously absent. It doesn't exist. Now, the fact of the matter is this: Africa, the way it is presently set up and constituted, are merely colonial constructs, where you have people coexisting happily together. Perhaps they are very fortunate. In the case of West Africa and Nigeria in particular, I have nothing, and I repeat, nothing in common with your average Fulani person. I have more things in common with even a white British person than I do with a Fulani person. I mean, we have nothing in common. Their value systems are different from ours. We cannot see eye to eye. I'll give a very simple example. The recent case of the banning of the movement of cattle on foot in the southern part of Nigeria, for instance. In the north, that is a normal thing for them to have. But in the south, it is absolutely strange. Having people walking around your neighborhood with AK-47 and the starting provocation, they kill people. That type of culture is alien to those of us from the south. And that's what we are trying to say. And it's a very good thing that we are not alone in seeking for a distinct, or should I say, separate identity. Our Yoruba brothers are also asking for the same thing. Because they too have come to the realization that this Nigeria is unworkable. The Middle Belt is doing the same thing. It is not born out of hatred for anybody. That is the mistake that people keep making all the time. Most analysts and, should I say, news journalists tend to somehow we hate Nigeria. Of course, that is not the case. What we deplore, what we detest and cannot live is the level of hypocrisy, the level of ethnic jingoism going on, being of course perpetrated by the Fulani people. And this is what I want all Pan-Africans to be able to see. That Biafra will be there piloting and moving the affairs of African folk. Because we have said without Biafra standing on its own, the rest of Africa will continue to suffer and to flounder. And for us to be able to get to where we are supposed to be, there has to be a very comprehensive and holistic rearrangement of the present state of Nigeria. You are well aware. I ask you to go and read the comments and statements coming from Katina Line, the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, for the every international norm and diplomatic protocol. That's what's happening in Nigeria. Nigeria doesn't exist as a country, it's not a nation, it's not a state. Nigeria is just a merely business enterprise. That everyone with a vested interest in Nigeria, by which I mean most European countries with their companies in the oil and gas sector in Nigeria, all they want to do is to exploit and to take away without adding anything in. Because it hasn't been cleaned up. People are dying in river states right across from water and then prostitution. Everywhere you go, there is mayhem and disorder. In Lagos this morning, the same thing. Everywhere you go to Nigeria is from because there is a palpable agenda of the Fulani jungle caliphate to take over the lands belonging to indigenous populations. And we have said no to that. We're not going to allow it, and we're not going to have it.
Okay. Thank you very much. You brought me to a very serious question. A question that has been nagging both the locals, Africans on their continent, and the question of external data forces. You have just mentioned people who are running the show, the oil companies. For example, they are watching. They have never raised anything on BBC, CNN, or international agencies. We don't hear, apart from we struggling as Africans ourselves. These agencies are not helping to say there are human rights abuses in Nigeria. For example, the American embassy closed its consulate in Abuja because of the huge numbers of people applying for asylum to go to the United States. But American embassy did not go far, and the American government did not go far to condemn and put sanctions on Buhari for failing to contain the malaise that has killed Nigeria. Two, if you look at the Total Oil, Shell people, they have taken part in extraction of minerals, oil, and so on and so forth. They are doing it when they are seeing human rights abuses in southeast of Nigeria. What do you say about that?
It is because we allowed them to. Total is an oil company, it's a private concern. Of course, it's a huge corporation, we know that. The same goes for Shell, for BP, for Halliburton, for ExxonMobil, and all the rest of them. They operate the way they like in Africa because we've allowed them to. I was in Texas a few months ago. Most of these oil companies are there. But the type of environmental degradation and damage that we're witnessing in Biafra land do not obtain in Texas because there they have laws governing their operation, how they exploit, how they extract and distribute these very vital natural resources. But because Nigeria, I think it's a cliche that Nigeria is corrupt. What people don't understand is the depth of the damaging effect of corruption that you have. And I'll give a very simple example. We cannot expect white people to have regard for us when we do not have regard for ourselves. That can never ever happen. Do you know that in Nigeria they import fuel? Are you aware that Nigeria imports fuel?
Yes, I've seen the fuel. I've seen the fuel.
refineries. Not one of them is functioning, not one single one. When white people are operating in such an environment, seeing how foolish and apostolic the entire country is in terms of their priorities, how do you then expect them to have respect for you or have regard for you? They can go into our land, they can pollute it. Katuna Land, the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, can be running the show off the land. Because there seems to be a recognition that these people do not reason like human beings. That is the fact. That's the fact. Tell me what an ambassador will be doing, discussing the entire nation, telling them how to run their security architecture, telling them who to kill and to spare. Our lawyer had the one killed 2 days ago. Okorafo, the mother was assassinated only 2 days ago. All because he was exposing what the army is doing to innocent people. That tells you all you need to know about Nigeria. Nigeria is an albatross around the neck of Africa. Nigeria is the only country in Africa actually dragging Black Africa backwards because of their ineptitude, because of their criminal mindset, and because of the drive of the Fulani to dip the Quran in the Atlantic Ocean. That is the problem. There is nothing wrong with this land, don't get me wrong. There are some very wrong interpretations of the religion of Muhammad that the Fulanis are using as a driving factor in their push to take over the land belonging to the indigenous people all across Nigeria. They've done the same thing to a relative extent in the Middle Belt. They took a chunk of Yoruba land in Ilorin. We have an emperor today. The same thing that comes to in our land, and we said no to it. And the whole world is there. The US mission is in Nigeria. The UK is in Nigeria. The EU is in Nigeria. The UN is in Nigeria. And there is wholesale murder and slaughter of people going on in Biafra as I speak right now. This very minute. The same people, they claim they know where Boko Haram is, from where they launched the attack. The same country is openly supporting ISIS in West Africa. Go to the liberal pages, get there, you will see it there. Nigeria government actually supporting ISIS to take over the terror franchise from Boko Haram. They are not hiding it anymore. There's a terrorist who is there as a minister. Now tell me which country in the world will allow a terror sympathizer to be a minister of state only in Nigeria? How can such a country be allowed to exist? Because of what some corrupt people are getting in America. Because of what some corrupt individuals are getting from Europe. Because of the corrupt tendencies of Catherine Land, who is the UK High Commissioner to Nigeria. That is what is happening to us. And because we have no reason to challenge this very orthodoxy of repression and oppression, that is why that woman took Taliban all over the place, decided who should live and who should be killed. It is not the fault of Total, not the fault of Shell, not the fault of Mobil. We allowed them, we created the environment to allow them to be so corrupt that now they're controlling our lives. And that is what Biafra will be done. I did not say that Biafra will stop the business of Total. I never said that we won't do business with Shell. No, not at all. But it has to be business between two human beings, not a set of human beings and one set of animals.
Thank you very much for that question. Let me come back to the question of referendum. You parted ways, and most of us have parted ways with Buhari about the referendum. The people of Biafra have said, and the entire Nigeria, not only Biafra, most people that I meet or whom I've met, including Obasanjo, several times I've confronted Obasanjo. By the way, me and Obasanjo, we can't sit on the table for 2 minutes without exchanging 10 tables because I can't manage. I have asked, and Obasanjo said, why don't you give a referendum? The marriage is broken. The marriage is gone. The marriage is not worth it. Do you think the referendum issue now can help to stabilize Nigeria? And if so, when and how can African Union, the Commonwealth, the European Union, and the UN can help to make sure that this referendum is put in place?
The only way to go is a referendum, because I am a Democrat at heart. I believe that the democratic will of the people must express at times, and that is the basic concept of a society. I am an advocate of referendum, and the sooner they conducted, the better. It's been used in the past through their so-called rejigging of their constitution, through their so-called sovereign national conference, which has been coming on and off from time to time. Any new arrangement that seeks to keep Nigeria together as one must be subject to the will of the people. So either way, the referendum is going to come anyway. It may be delayed, but it is ultimately going to come. Now, one thing you must understand is this. There are very corrupt countries around the world. Maybe on the surface they are not corrupt. But now they have very corrupt operators that will prefer Nigeria to remain in the very hopeless state that is in at the moment. Nigeria is in a very hopeless state. A lot of people are making money by virtue of the corrupt nature of Nigeria. Do you know that Shell BP can sell 1 million barrels of crude oil in a day and don't report that they only sold 100? Do you know there is no milk? Where the crude oil is being loaded onto the tankers at the terminal in Biafra land where I come from, there is no milk. You can take as much as you like and declare whatever you like. These interests want to keep Nigeria one. Every ambassador to Nigeria gets a welcome handshake of $1 million. Once you are posted to Nigeria from a well-to-do country, so to speak, the ambassador is bribed immediately there and then. That is how this stands to work. You will not believe what I'm about to tell you. Do you know that the U.S. ambassador to Nigeria organized, or I say, convinced the Biden administration to allow the U.S. military to come for an exercise in the Gulf of Guinea in order to checkmate Biafra and Amazon freedom fighters? The same people did not go to the north. There they have Boko Haram, there they have ISIS, there they have Ansar, there they have Fulani terrorists. People tormenting, killing, raping, kidnapping, and pillaging on the present every blessed day they do this. Do you know that it is not the recommendation of the U.S. ambassador to Nigeria that the U.S. must commit their troops to the north? But they are in the Gulf of Guinea, exercising, saying that they are there to fight crime both on land and on sea. But there is no crime going on. So the places where the crimes are going on are all in the Sharia law. And I want to bring you back to this idea of referendum once again. Do you know that the Fulani people, they agitated for Sharia in the 12 northern Fulani-controlled states of Nigeria, excluding Middle Belt? Do you know that your good friend, as you are saying, Obasanjo, get it to them? It's not referendum. They're your good friend because I hate what I can do. The man is a joke. Let me tell you this. Do you know that the Fulanis campaigned, including Buhari? Of course, the next one is in Saudi Arabia, somebody in the shallow place. Do you know that these people campaigned for Sharia to be introduced in Fulani-controlled northern states? I think about 12 or 13 states. There was no hoo-ha, nobody opposed them. In other words, the Fulanis themselves have divided Nigeria into two by virtue of their insistence on having Sharia. That is why today the Chief Justice of Nigeria is a Sharia lawyer, not a secular lawyer, not a secular judge, a Sharia court judge elevated to the position of the Chief Justice of a secular federation. Now you tell me.
Your Excellency, is this the man, the Chief Justice, who said his papers were eaten by termites?
That's correct, yes. Is it?
Oh my God.
That's the purpose.
Yes.
Is it? He is a Sharia court, he's an Italian court. But today, he is the Chief Justice of a secular state practicing common law. How do you expect us to accept such nonsense? Who in their right mind live under such condition? Who in their right mind will? That is what we want Africans to understand. It's not that we hate anybody, we are Pan-Africanists. I want one Africa, I want one United Africa, but an Africa found on the basis of justice, fairness, equity, and progress. Not one found on retrogression, on backwardness, on corruption, on stealing, and on looting. That tells you all you need to know about Nigeria. Can you tell me why they are deploying troops to Biafra at the moment? Killing people every blessed day. but they will not go and confront them. It's only to come to the east to kill people because we are peaceful. Such injustice we are no longer prepared to tolerate. And that is why referendum we are going. We are going. That's the president.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency Namdi. Come, let me bring you back to 1966. Several constitutions had been negotiated, but none addressed the fundamental question of social justice, differences, political tensions, economic marginalization, competition, ethnic imbalances. In all this, from 1966, several constitutions have been brought. People started fight. In 67, the war ended. Since then, military, upon the military took power over Sanjo, Babangida, another one who died, and another one, several of them. The changes, nobody has been mentioning what ails Nigeria. At the center of it, it looks like you are mentioning it now. I can't see. Any observer of Nigeria can see your plight. Like just as we can see the plight of many African countries. When you talk of 13 states having Sharia law, the Chief Justice who says his papers were eaten by termites becomes the Chief Justice based on Sharia law and using common law. Now, should the changes be made and should the adjustment be made? Is there any hope that Nigeria remains alone? This is a question from a very senior head of state in Africa. He has asked me just now, I should put it to you. It's from southern part of Africa. Can Nigeria remain together in case these are addressed? Yes, sir.
It is up to the people of Nigeria to decide if they want to be together or not. During a referendum on pesticides, I'm only entitled to just one vote. Only one vote. It is now left for the people to decide what to do. That is why we said to Nigeria, we don't want to break away with nothing. We want it to be done with the consent of the people. And during the early life of this ABC terrorist regime in Nigeria, they did actually use the idea, they discussed it among themselves, that whatever new arrangement is being proposed must be subject to the will of the people. I will say to that question, let the people decide. Anything they decide, I'll go. Anything that people come together to decide, this is what we want to do, I will submit myself to because I am a democrat. What I'm trying to say is that the present condition of Nigeria is no longer tenable. It is no longer tenable. It cannot be tolerated any longer. And that's why we're doing what we can legally and legitimately to bring it to an end.
Okay. Let's come to African Union. President Uhuru Kenyatta is the chairperson of Africa, or Kenya is the chairperson of African Union Peace Security Council. He sits, is the chairperson of all peace and security arrangement in Africa. He is also a member of the United Nations Security Council, representing Sub-Saharan Africa. He has huge numbers of Nigerians seeking asylum every day in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania. What do you want him to hear? What do you want him to hear now? What message will you give to them, to the AU, that the situation is not as they think, so that people can wake up and help you?
What I want President Uhuru Kenyatta to understand is this. contrary to all the fallacious lies and misinformation coming from Nigeria, we are not against African unity. We want Africa to prosper. And what is happening from what you said, what is experiencing now in Kenya and in other East African countries in terms of the huge numbers of people seeking refugee status and asylum is indicative of the decay and the death that Nigeria is going through at the moment. And unless they step in now to do the right thing, believe you me, they will get millions upon millions of people asking for asylum in their countries in no distant future. Let it not be said that the disintegration of Nigeria will somehow bring an end to Africa's position and unity. It is a lie. It's a lie. It will strengthen it. Nigeria is the country dragging Africa backwards, being purportedly the most populous nation, black nation in the world, with vast reserves of oil and gas in my land in Biafra. A lot has been expected of Nigeria over the years, but each time they have failed. If you go to a place like Rwanda that I'm just been to, if you go to Kigali and see what Kigali has been able to do with meager resources that they have, I am sure the same transformation is taking place all across Ethiopia, taking place all across Kenya. You can see viability of the economic life across it. None of that exists in Nigeria. They only sell crude oil and they import everything, including refined petrol as well. What I want African leaders to understand today is that Nigeria is the problem of Africa. If you terminate Nigeria, it's like a cancer growing somewhere on the body of Africa. Once you get rid of Nigeria, believe you me, Africa will spring to life. Let them not be deceived. Don't allow yourself to be deceived to think that we need this huge country with huge population and vast natural resources to be relevant in the world on the world stage. That is a lie. Because the size of Nigeria, the way it is today, was predetermined by our colonial masters. Britain said, we want to use Nigeria to influence every other country in Africa. That was their game plan. Britain wanted to control Africa through Nigeria. It's there in the official documents. And I'm saying to Africans today, don't allow that to happen. As you say, the level of Fulani mediocrity in Nigeria has been almost impossible. The best way for us to go is for Africans to understand that Nigeria is a tumor, a cancerous tumor driven plus one. Cut it out and Africa will be free.
Okay. Thank you very much. I just want you to take a slow pace now. I want to come to ask a question that has happened to me also. We seem to be swimming in the same field. That's why you see, we are the same. The loss of your parents, you did not attend. I also did not attend. The death of my father, I have never buried him. I am in the same category like you. I want us to go slow and see. You were not allowed to attend to bury your parents. How did you handle this? I know I am slightly older than you. Yes, I have handled.
Are you sure?
Yes, I am.
Are you sure?
I'm 65.
My goodness, you look very young.
Yes, I'm 65. And
That's very good.
I have, when I lost my parents, I was also in exile in Britain, and I could not bury them. How did you yourself handle this matter, and how do you encourage others? There are millions of refugees on the African continent in South Sudan. Some of them don't know where they're coming from. But the people have gone to make political leadership, but they have forgotten accountability. That's why South Sudan peace process is collapsing, because there's no accountability. So how did you handle that? And did it encourage you and give you resolve to keep pushing for a better Nigeria or a better Biafra? Please.
It keep me pushing for a better society for everybody. Everybody, not just within Biafra or within the wider Nigeria, but across Africa as a whole. Because what concerns one black person actually should concern another black person as well. I put my parents' murder by the Nigerian state into context. The only thing that matters to me is the freedom for Biafra, of which I am prepared to pay whatever price that God requires of me to pay in order to ensure that Biafrans are set free. That was how I managed to, should I say, compartmentalize that very grief at that moment in time. And I might also add that my mother-in-law is dead as a result of the same thing. 2 days ago, one of our lead attorneys, they actually threw a hand grenade into the mother's car and killed her and burnt her body only 2 days ago. I see these things as necessary sacrifice that we must go through in order to restore Biafra that is essentially the kingdom of God upon the face of this very earth. For that, we are prepared to pay whatever price that we are called upon to pay to ensure that the people of Biafra and every other ethnic group being oppressed in Nigeria and wider Africa is set free. That's my mindset. And that was how I dealt with it. As horrible as it was, that I couldn't attend as the first child and as the first son, my father's burial, my mother's burial, but I see them as being very essential sacrifices that one has to make in order to ensure that people are set free.
Thank you very much. I am also the first son, so maybe that's why I started fighting for the Biafran people. Let me come back, take you back to the question of Boko Haram. You mentioned one point which is very clear. Security agencies across Africa would like to know what ails, why is it is Buhari? By the way, is Buhari, or we have a problem here? Because the human being should understand that people are dying. The army, Nigeria has a huge army. Is the army coward? Are they cowards? Do they protect who? Are they protecting the territory of Nigeria? How does the army allow people to come and kidnap citizens, take them, then in peaceably release them 2, 3, 4 back? Who are these? Is it an internal collaboration between the army, Buhari, and his general? Who is commanding this army? Surely the army that cannot even rescue 5 students from girls who have been abducted. What type of army is this? Is there a bigger thing than Boko Haram? I have been requested by another reader from Tanzania to say, why is this Boko Haram money never cleared? Why is Nigeria not asking for external help to come in to help them? Is it because they want it themselves? Please shed some light to our viewers.
I want Africans to understand one fact today. The entire terror architecture in Nigeria is hinged on the political aspirations and hegemonic tendencies of only one tribe, the Fulani. We have no issues with the Hausa, the Bachama people, and all the rest of them. It is the Fulani. And this plan has been in existence for a very, very long time, nearly 200 years ago. And they must execute it. I want Africans to understand that only the Fulani tribe alone finance and sponsor almost 6 terror groups exclusively by themselves. Before Buhari came into power in 2016, he said, at the height of the insurgency, an attack against Boko Haram is an attack against the North. I will leave that to one side. I want your viewers to understand something today, which previously maybe they may not have been aware of. Do you know that Boko Haram nominated Buhari as their chief negotiator in 2014-2015? Are people aware of that at all? Do you know that these same people only a few years ago said that these murderers and these rapists, they are our misguided brothers? Do you know that their so-called Gumi, who happens to be very close to the presidency, I need you to understand this very clearly, they want negotiating with bandits. Are you aware that their recommendation is for ISIS and Boko Haram to merge together, that they can come south? I want these points to be noted by the viewers all over the world. So when you see these people, you ask them these questions. Do you also know that the leader of the dreaded ISIS in West Africa province, ISWAP, his name is Al-Banawi. Al-Banawi is the son of Yusuf Mohammed, the founder of Boko Haram. Do you know that this man was arrested around about the same time that I was in detention in 2015? Do you know he was released without trial on the orders of the presidency of Nigeria? Do you know that the fourth largest terror group in the world, the Fulani Herdsmen, which the whole world knows, the fourth largest terror group in the world, they are Tiala. Do you know that the presidential spokesman came out and said live on national television that these terrorists are legitimate stakeholders in the governance of Nigeria? Are you aware of that? Do you know that despite telling the whole world that these murderers and these killers are from the Sahel, they are not Nigerian Fulanis? Do you know they are forcing us today to give them our land so they can settle with Djibouti? Are you aware of that? Let me also shock you this morning. From the office of the Inspector General of Police of Nigeria, a letter came out titled Terror Elements to Expand Frontiers of Attack. In this very letter signed on behalf of the Inspector General of Police of Nigeria, of which Katola Line and the U.S. Ambassador are both aware. Here, they mention the specific places where they claim the leaders of Boko Haram are hiding. Understand this? I want the world to know that this Fulani expansionism is a well-planned, orchestrated move to take over the land of the indigenous people and hand it over to marauding Fulani Lomas across the Sahel. A letter from the IG of Police of Nigeria. In this very letter, they mentioned the names of the places where they felt or they believed their intelligence told them that these people are hiding. They did not send Nigerian army or police there to go and confront them. Instead, they sent them to Imo State. They sent them to Aki in Biafra land and gave them an order to shoot aside. And I want you as a journalist, I want you as a lawyer to go back and investigate through the history of Fulani-funded terrorism and insurgency in Nigeria. Try and see if there is any instance where the IG of police or the chief of army staff has ever said to the troops, shoot aside anywhere. It's never happened before. Only in Biafra. A few days ago. That is to tell you that this is a well-planned pincer movement basically from the east and from the west in order to try to take over the geopolitical space of Nigeria for Fulanis across the Sahel. These are the things you need to ask yourself this question. You've been talking about Boko Haram, ISIS, all these murderers all over the place. Ask yourself this question. Has any Boko Haram been convicted before of any crime in Nigeria? Ask yourself this question. Now let me bring to Africans up to the whole world at large on this program today. I know that a while back, Al-Shabaab attacked the fishermen boats in Kenya. Is that correct? Yes. Now, maybe you live in Kenya, you are now studying in Kenya. Is that correct?
Yes, don't worry. Yes, I am here.
Now, how do you think Kenyans will feel if President Uhuru Kenyatta were to grant some kind of amnesty to Al-Shabaab to now say, Al-Shabaab, you know what, come and become part of Kenyan army? How would you feel?
I think the Kenyans will go to the streets. The Kenyans will catch the Al-Shabaab and we lost them on the streets.
Now, let me tell you this. This is something that Africans don't know. Do you know that Nigerian army being sent to Biafra land today contains elements of Boko Haram and ISIS in it?
Yes,
because they are now part of us.
I've seen the reports. Yes.
Let me ask you this question. When people say we shouldn't fight the army or their police, how do we know who they take us? How can you distinguish between a terrorist in army uniform and a serving patient in a Nigerian army? That's what I'm asking the whole world to answer. How do we know? They incorporated terrorists into their security architecture. How do we know this?
Okay.
How?
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Let's take a short break and take water because it is hot in here, and I think wherever you are is also hot. The interview is fantastic. It has generated one of the huge numbers in the history of Pan-Africanism and this television station. So let me take some water. You take some water. You resume in 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Okay, sir.
On that question and the wow, how do you differentiate between Boko Haram and Nigerian army? When Boko Haram has been inscripted, that's better English, inscripted in Nigerian army to come and kill the people of the southeast. That is the question on the table. When we return, this is Matanga Africa perspective. In Matanga Africa perspective, we look for hot spots. One of the hot spots is Nigeria. Is Nigeria disintegrating? Is Nigeria fragmenting to pieces? Is there leadership in Nigeria? Is General Buhari the general we saw 10 years ago? Oh, this is a different person. How can a leader allow his people to die? How can you inscript a Boko Haram to be a minister in your own government? Oh my God, is there something wrong? A country that we all looked at as a country, the big giant of Africa. We saw everything in Nigeria. Now it looks like what my good writer, the man who wrote the things fall apart, in our journal was right. The center cannot hold anymore. The state is going. Don't go away. Just we are returning. This is a fantastic show from Punchline Africa Television. We are interviewing His Excellency Namdi Kanu, the leader of IPOB, Indigenous People of Biafra. Thank you.
Conflicts exist on this continent. One of the most raging conflicts in the continent of Africa is the question of Biafra. From 1965 or before that, Biafrans had their own institutions. For the colonial master arrived, they have agitated themselves, told the world they want fair treatment in a nation called Nigeria. Successive regimes have always trampled upon the rights of the people of Biafra, destroyed them, killed their younger men, assassinated many, deported many, excluded many, forceful deportation out of your own country. Time has come for the new generation, 2020, 2021, 2022, for people to sit down to find an everlasting solution to the conflict that is around that region. President Buhari promised us that he will finish in 100 days, first term of office, Boko Haram will be ended. Today is finishing his second term. Boko Haram is even more violent than his own shoes. We have landed in very serious market waters, and the people of Nigeria don't know which direction they are going. The people of Nigeria, a big country, a big population, and the economic hub of West Africa and Africa, with the biggest reserves of oil, still lingers in poverty. The poverty and the rich gaps in Nigeria are wider than the distance between Mars and Earth. What can we do for our countries in Africa? How do we unite? For us, our role is to speak, to defend the voiceless, to listen, to chart our way forward, to find a solution. The only way solution can be got on the Biafran issue, the referendum, which Buhari and the government, the president have refused. But sincerely speaking, Nigeria needs rearrangement. If that rearrangement does not come today, tomorrow, or the other day, one day it is going to explode. People can be pushed, but they cannot be pushed beyond what Biafrans. The suffering is too much. Pictures that I cannot show on this television. I call upon President Uhuru Kenyatta as a member of the United Nations Security Council to see that some of these problems should be resolved and the resolution is passed of sitting down to understand the difficulties of the nations, especially in Nigeria, in Cameroon, because the problem of Biafra is also similar to the problem of Amazonia. The English-speaking people have no say in the Cameroon. They are taken as second-class citizens. Biafrans are also taken as second-class citizens in a country called Nigeria. Their problems are compounded with the dictator who has lost direction, who doesn't know where the wind is blowing from, whether east of Sahara or west of Sahara. It's going north, when the wind is going north, south. Therefore, it's blown, one leg going up, one leg going down. Look at the picture of Buhari standing 6.1 feet, being blown apart. Thank you.
Backlight Africa Television. Our show is Matanga Africa Perspective. In the Matanga Africa Perspective, we look at what ails Africa, what kills Africa, what makes Africa be called the continent of savages. As we can see in Nigeria, that name cannot go away. Boko Haram is killing people, it's taking people. We have incorporated it in the system of the Nigerian army, brought them back without remorsefulness. They have not even done any reconciliation, and they are then being hired to destroy and kill other people. We have invited, and we shall invite more people to talk about this. We shall invite any other person who wants to discuss the issue why Nigeria is collapsing. The state, the center cannot hold anymore. With us in the studio and away taking questions from us is none other than the leader of IPOB, Indigenous People of Biafra, His Excellency Mati Namdi Kam. Welcome back, sir. One question.
Thank you very much.
One question after the break. We had to go for some water because it was becoming hot here. To hear that Boko Haram is part and a parcel of the government of Nigeria. It is something that has sunk my heart. I don't know. But I am very shocked. Let me come to this. There is a feeling that time has come. And I will keep on going back to this question. That the United Nations, the 5 permanent members, are part and the parcel of the problem. Now, because you can't exclude any, China is already in Nigeria also. Russia is in Nigeria. America has been there. Britain is there. France, Total Oil, their presence is there. And the Canadian question comes. We can't fit it in, we went away. But it's coming back from the questions I've read during the break. Someone from South Africa is asking, surely, do these permanent members of the United Nations have eyes? Do they see? Because there are some clips here which I don't want to show you on this TV. They are very bad. As far as the killings of the youth in Southeast in Biafra, the killings, the slaughter, the torture by the army, by Nigerian army, how they tie youths on their Land Rovers and roll them around the villages. I get these pictures every day from Onitsha. These are not photoshops. These are real things happening in Nigeria. So someone has asked, does the United Nations permanent 5 have eyes or not? What would you say to them now, today? As we fight,
I believe that
God.
they have eyes, but for some reason they have decided not to see the evil happening to Biafra. And this is what I want Africans to actually digest. Africans must ask themselves this question. Why is there this global conspiracy against Biafra? I have an answer to that. It is because Biafra portends goodwill for the whole of Africa. And they understand this very clearly. We cannot be blaming the permanent staff of the UN because we are the ones that created the enabling environment for them to come in, to exploit and to do whatever thing that they want to do. I was having a very serious discussion with somebody and I said to them, do you think that the world prefers this very exploitative relationship that they have with the very corrupt subsequent proceedings that we have in Nigeria? The person said yes. I said no. The answer is no. USA is more concerned about trade, Japan, and the EU more than they will with Nigeria. Because in all these economies, people want where they can ship their goods and services to be purchased. They needed to have the spending power. That was the reason behind the USA helping Germany to stand on its feet after the Second World War. The reconstruction of Europe by the US government was driven by economic self-preservation. People would want an Africa that is vibrant, an Africa that would be like the Southeast Asia, where high goods and services can be traded with ease. Not this very almost primitive, exploitative relationship that we have in places like Nigeria. I don't blame China. I don't even blame Britain. I don't blame Hollywood USA. I don't blame Agi of Italy. I don't blame Shell of Netherlands. I don't blame them. We are the ones that allowed them to come to exploit us. So we cannot blame them. See, in life, time, you go into your mindset, you go into a very vicious cycle of this victimhood, and you can never come out of it. And I'm saying to Black African people all over the world, if you believe in the equality of every man born, if you believe that all men are created equal by God, then anything white people can do, so also can you do it. If we cannot do what Europeans can do, what Americans can do, what South Americans can do, what Asians can do, we cannot lay any claim at all to human equality. It is our fault, not the fault of the permanent fight. I go back to what I said before. It was these same people that gave oil and gas concessions to the United Kingdom. That was why it was the Biafran war fought. It wasn't a white man. These were black people. Gowon is a black man. It was Gowon that said no to the structure. Obasanjo fought on the side of the colonial masters. That is the history of Africa. Joining your oppressors to defeat your own people. That's exactly what is playing out in Nigeria. Nothing more, nothing less. I cannot possibly apportion blame to anyone whatsoever. We're blaming ourselves. Because in Africa, we tend to blame other people all the time. Whereas the fault is us. The fault is ours. I remember one thing that the Chinese government said in 1999 when they took back Hong Kong. The Chinese government said that they never blamed anybody. They never blamed the British. They blamed themselves for losing Hong Kong because they were British. And that is how real men should be able to embrace their country. That we are ravaged by poverty, disease, ignorance, and backwardness in Africa. It's our fault. Not the fault of the Indigenous. If we decide to rise up this morning to say enough is enough, believe you me, we can transform Africa within only 2 years. After all, God can do something illegally. Why can't we replicate it everywhere else? We must learn to put our people first. When a head of state gets up in the morning and buys a property in Europe, what do you expect? That means not nothing. When he gets up in the morning and decides to buy a private jet, that means nothing. And these are clear facts. I cannot blame anybody for our plight. I blame ourselves for it. And that is why we are rising up. And I want to make this thing categorically clear so that the whole world can understand me. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what the greatest powers of this earth do us in relation to Nigeria. Biafra is going to be free. Or we all die in the process. I swear to God Almighty in Africa. Death is better than what we are passing through right now in that street called Nigeria. And we must be free. I said must. We are not making anybody for it. It's about before the white man came, there was Biafra. Before Britain was created, Biafra existed for over 5,000 years before the was of Britain. How did they decide where you live? How did they decide which identity you have? How can a white man come from Europe and decide to come here in Nigeria? What is the name of Nigeria? Nobody knows. We must go back to who we are. Be proud of who we are. I am a proud Biafran. I can never be a proud Nigerian because the name Nigeria has no meaning. No meaning whatsoever. Not even in Swahili, it has no meaning. How can a white man come and create a country for me in Africa and I'll be holding their flag up and down, saying this is my country? Who said so? Can I go to Europe and create a country in Europe for them? On what basis is our argument of human equality when Europeans can come to Africa and create countries? We cannot go to Europe to create countries. How can that be equality? That is why it was us. And that is why we must rise up now and to support Biafra. Biafra is the beginning of the true emancipation of black people. Ask Julius Nyerere and his temple. Thank you.
Julius Nyerere indeed. In 1967, the late Julius Nyerere was the first man with Dr. Milton Obote. That's why I, on this microphone, I still carry the flag of Dr. Milton Obote. They are the first countries in Africa to recognize Biafra. So in case people ask me why we have interest in Biafra, I follow both the leaders because I have lived in Tanzania and I'm a Ugandan. And I live in Kenya. I live in Europe. I'm a global citizen. I follow Pan-Africanism. Indeed, one other question before I bring this to your side to address your people. then we make it, call it a day. We have covered most of the things. Some of them you will bring them in your own address, which you will be given a chance to do so in 15 minutes also. There are so many ways, constitutional ways, of struggling for freedom. I believe you know where I'm going now. Because we have tried for over 10 years. You have tried. You have done so well. You have awoken the people and said, wake up. We are being slashed one by one. Buhari has allowed people to buy daggers. You know, I saw my investigative journalist came across 100,000 daggers. How do you buy daggers for who? You import daggers. And there are so many cows to slaughter in that place. I looked at it and said, these are daggers to come and kill other people. If the constitutional route of referendum fails, what other constitutional means would you use?
We insist on constitutionality.
Yes.
Now we are going to have it. When Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King started to try to rearrange the social order in America, some people felt it was impossible to do, but eventually he succeeded. When Nelson Mandela and I'm sure the good self and all other anti-apartheid campaigners started, even with the support of Margaret Thatcher and Ronald Reagan, this is something people don't know. That Ronald Reagan, the very powerful president of the US, and Margaret Thatcher, they all supported apartheid South Africa. They did. They were the ones that labeled ANC a terrorist group. Some people don't know this. It was only a few years ago that the name of Mandela was, should I say, erased from the logbook of terrorists in the United States of America. People don't know this. We are going to insist on what is ours and what is right. We've been occupying our land in perpetuity since the creation of man on this very earth. Somebody came and decided to change our dates and we said no. The person said, okay, if I'm leaving, I'm going to hand you over to the more brutal caretaker, which I prefer this case. And that is why they are giving us this work. I want to draw your attention to something very, very critical. The order given by the Inspector General of Police of Nigeria to predominantly Fulani soldiers and Fulani police people to go to Biafra land to kill people. Had this announcement been made by any other police chief anywhere in the world, believe you me, to be summoned to appear in jail the next day. I want to read for your audience. I'm going to quote you verbatim what he said. The IG of police in Nigeria said, he's a Fulani man, mind you. Don't mind the media shout. Do the job by commanding. If anyone accuses you of human rights violation, the reports will come to my table and you know what I will do. So take the battle to them wherever they are and kill them all. Kill just as all. Don't wait for an order. Once another order are you waiting for when Mr. President has ordered you to shoot anybody carrying AK-47 as authorizable? Quote me, even a dead policeman can be tried and dismissed from the force, and his family will not get his benefits. And this is from the police chief. Do you know the funniest thing, or should I say the most astonishing thing of all? The EU has a presence in Abuja, in Nigeria. The British High Commissioner is there at the line. The US Ambassador is there. They've not said anything at all. In other words, that leads us now to believe that exactly what happened between 66 and 1970 is about to happen again, which is kill as many Biafrans as possible. I want all Africans to understand this, that this very policy of genocide and slaughter is sanctioned by the US Ambassador in Nigeria, sanctioned by the UK. Tomorrow they'll be singing songs of praise about human rights and business. What China is doing, what is happening in Gaza, what is happening in Rohingya. But in Nigeria, they sanction very tiny country to be squashed and killed. What is it that they have that is driving them so mad? Because the future progress of Africa lies in the land of Biafra. And they do not want black people to be developed. That is why they're doing what they're doing. Look at a whole, should I say, high country running all over the place, telling the country how to be run. The same things that from Nkrumah, Julius Nyerere, Azikiwe, all of them, but it's Lumumba. So the same thing that Mandela fought. Black people are now tolerating it. The same thing we are fighting, we want independence, we want self-rule today, this very morning or afternoon or evening. One single woman, is crossing the whole of Nigeria, telling the Nigerian police who to kill, telling them who to do that. Now tell me how I can be in a country where the chief of police have targeted my people for extermination, and the whole world is quiet. Tomorrow they'll start blaming us for one thing or the other. But we're not backing down because Biafra is coming, and I assure you no chief that will stop it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I just want to ask my final question. What does the future look like for Biafra? I'm interested in that. What does the future? Because let me come first. I've struggled for Sudan. My television and my TV struggled for Gambia. You remember you were listening to me when switched off all television stations in Gambia. I took my satellite quietly in Gambia, and Yaya, with all the army, could not know that I was broadcasting from his own place. I took my satellite phone, and we did. I had to liberate Gambia. I'm proud that South Sudan today, I played the part to call Dr. Riek Machar. You know, at the time, the people, Your Excellency, Namdi Khan, think that when you interview man who has a different opinion from the government, you are giving them platform. Yes. We must hear when we talk, then violence will stop. If we keep quiet, then we shall perpetuate violence. So we should keep on talking. And I picked up a phone called Riek Machar in South Africa, where he had been put under house arrest. I shouted on this television to IGAD and the AU and made noise to the British and the Commonwealth office. I said, how do you lock a person who should be negotiating peace in South Sudan? Took about 2 months, 3 months. Riek was set free, was told you can now start the negotiations. Everything I've touched on African continent in my 65 years, I've resolved. I resolved a big, huge conflict in Uganda. I think you already know, between the regular Christian army and the President Museveni. People feared to go to the bush to look for this man, younger man called Con, very young, still 40-something. I went. I said, you are killing people. People want you to talk. And we have come here. If you want to kill us, you can also kill us. I'm a determined man. I want you to paint for us a picture of a Biafra that does not look Savimbi way. You know where I'm coming from. You have read the Savimbi history. We give him everything. Then he turns up. He misuses. He lets us down. Sudan, South Sudan, look, we give them time. Riek comes back. They fight again over power. I have been there for Cameroon. The Amazonian people. I'm bringing them again. Now they have several factions. You don't know whom to call. One calls you, don't call that one. Don't Nobody called Biafra. You see, these are things that want to mean Africa. Paint for me a picture of a Biafra you want.
Yeah.
Whether today, tomorrow, whether you are there or not there, whether I'm there or not there, we want to see the picture of a Biafra. I love the people of Biafra myself. I love them from the bottom of my heart. I love them. I don't care about what you can say. Whether we meet at the AU, I'll point fingers at you. I will. It is coronavirus that has made us not meet now. But if AU was meeting in night, I would wrestle you. I don't care. Because this is something that is paining the people of Africa. And you can't wear long kanzu, these long clothes that come there to impress us with your perfume when people are dying. Therefore, I want you to paint for me a picture of a Biafra. What type of Biafra you want?
The type of Biafra I want is the Biafra of my ancestors, the land of the free, where people are allowed to pursue their daily endeavors without interference from any higher authority, where individual and collective autonomy of every component, ethnic, nationality within Biafra will be guaranteed, not just by law, but by virtue of what stands as dignified human beings. A Biafra that will be demilitarized, a Biafra that will be forward-looking, innovative, creative, run on clean, green energy, not reliant on gas or petrol. A Biafra where police will not bear the arms. A Biafra where people can live and die and you will not see an armed soldier everywhere around you. A genuine republican land belonging to people. We are going to cement this in the way we structure our society. A Biafra that will attract inward investment. A Biafra that will consider every necessity of life a human right. Not just in words, but in deed. A Biafra where there will be no strife nor rancor. A Biafra where all men and women will be equal, regardless of their religion, their sex, their creed, their orientation. A Biafra that will maintain open borders to every black soul on the face of this very earth. I do admit that geographically, in terms of landmass, we may not be that huge. A Biafra will operate, or should I say, run an open door policy. Every black person on the face of this earth will be an honorary citizen of Biafra, as long as you're not tainted by terrorism. That is the type of Biafra we want to run. A Biafra where Europeans will sit back and say, we never knew that such innovation and creativity will be possible. A Biafra that, should I say, the likes of Rwanda is a forerunner to, because today they are doing very well as well. That is type of nation we are going to be. A truly democratic nation, not through the force of arms, but through dialogue and negotiations at all times. Nobody is going to lord it over anybody else. My ancestors never did. That is why we remain the only people not to conquer any other piece of territory. And nobody conquered us until the white man came and our temple fell in 1904. That is the land we are going to go back to. A Biafra of very many nations. A Biafra of autonomous nations within, governing themselves according to their own rules. Where nobody will sit at the helm of power and dictate for others what to do. And we are going to accomplish it by the grace of God Almighty in heaven. Now, I know that constant references are being made to Southern Sudan. But I want to let people understand that even after the USA became free from British colonial rule, they also went through a very bitter civil war. And that did not stop them today from becoming preeminent in in every sphere of human endeavor, militarily, economically, socially, in every way. So I do believe very strongly that Southern Sudan will rise up to be strong once again. All these are teething problems. You also mentioned the issue of factionalism. It is when people put the interest of themselves and their controllers well and above that of those that they are serving. That is why I said, and I have said this repeatedly, I will never ever leave Biafra politically. Once Biafra is restored, my job is done. I want to be able to prove to our people what sacrifice means, so that those who come after us will know how to treat our people with respect and with dignity. The thing about Africa is somebody gets into power and they want to stay there forever and ever, see there is something in it. The little work that I'm doing for Biafran people is entirely very, very stressful. Sometimes I don't even know how these presidents manage to sleep. Maybe they don't love their people that much. If you love your people, you cannot sleep at night. Any president in Africa who's not suffering from high blood pressure, you are not sick. That means you're doing something wrong. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. If you're concerned about your people, then I expect you to be very ill at all times. So that is the type of Biafra that we need. That's the type of Biafra we're going to have. A type of Biafra where the well-being of Sub-Saharan Africa flows from. And I can assure you we are going to deliver it. We will deliver it. The Pan-Africanism that we talk about is going to start from Biafra, because mind you, I did not say that we're just going to have Biafra and then we shut up all the others down. What we want to do is to return to our organic political cultural arrangement. You Biafrans wake up the next day to say, oh, we want to be the same country we could do the one on well and good. You Biafrans wake up and say, oh, we want to expand into Amazonia on well and good. As long as you take the consent of the people with you, this nonsense that the Europeans did in Africa, we want to reverse it. That God Almighty heaven may look down and be very proud to say that at last, I have people who are after my heart, and that's what we intend to do with Biafra. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Viewers, we seem to have covered most of the areas. It is the first time, and it's not going to be the last time, until we liberate, until we achieve the objectives, the aims, the vision of a better people on the African continent. His Excellency Mazi Namdekan will return at one time to give us his other views by daily messages. Today, the leaders in Africa watching by the. For your information, I linked this to South African President Ramaphosa. I linked this to, of course, the president here. His handlers are watching. President Emerson Mnangagwa, Office of Foreign Affairs, and his President's Office, they are watching. Several South Americans and the several African, Your Excellency, the Pan-African President in Kampala, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, he has added another name, which is very complicated. He's watching, he's interested in the Pan-African views. They are watching, they watched. But I want now to calm down and slow down and give you a chance. Give you another 5 to 6, 10 minutes. Enjoy them. Tell your people. Send it to them. Millions of them, millions and millions of them. As we talk in Onitsha, in Abra, in all those places, in all those states, in Southeast, those who are suffering under the heavy, these guys, Boko Haram terrorists who have invaded, they are embedded in Nigerian army, coming to kill people. Give them hope. Give them hope that salvation is on the way. Give them hope that tomorrow will be better tomorrow. Give them hope that Africa is aware. Give them hope that the world is not doing enough. What we have done today has enlightened so many people, so many countries that have Nigerian refugees who are fleeing because Nigeria is disintegrated. They are benefiting from this program, and it affects security of the entire Africa. The floor is yours. Take it away.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on this program. I've been a very big fan of yours over many years, and I have studied you extensively. Once again, I accept my most humblest respect to you and to the entire group that put this thing together today. I want our people to understand one very thing. At the end of this very race, Biafra is going to emerge. It doesn't matter what anybody does. And to our African friends and brethren, I want them to also understand this. We talk about Pan-Africanism. Pan-Africanism cannot take off without Biafra, because we do need a genuinely free country in Africa to be able to drive that very critical and important initiative. We are seeking to build a country that God Almighty in heaven will be very proud of. And though the Janjaweed, the Fulani Caliphate, have sent their armies of conquest into our land, that this very day, we don't even know if those who are killing us are doing so on behalf of the Nigerian state or they're doing it on behalf of the Islamic Caliphate. Because as we well know, ISIS is now in Niger State, very soon could be, and then from Kogi they'll come into Anambra, and the real war will begin. Remember, very many years ago, I told you one very critical point for you to bear in mind as what I've told. Basically, to guide you in all your deliberations and you think about Biafra. They're going to kill us, that is true. But that is not going to stop Biafra from coming. We are going to do all we can to defend our land and to defend our people. The whole world may appear to be against us, but we have done nothing wrong. That is the most frightening thing about this whole thing. If you ask the world, what did Biafra do wrong to you? Nobody can tell. Nobody can actually explain to you properly. Because they want a world where very illiterate, nomadic set of people will be in charge of governance. Where you have refineries and they're no longer working. Where you produce oil and gas, but still import kerosene and fuel for your cars. Where they want to impoverish people. For those who may not be acquainted, or should I say familiar with the book that one of our very good friends wrote in years gone by, Walter Rodney. He was at Diaspora University where he was assassinated by the CIA very many years ago. Walter Rodney wrote a very compelling book called How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. What we are witnessing today is precisely what he was trying to explain to us. If you allow yourselves to be taken over by greed, by self-preservation and the trappings that you find in North America and in Europe and the Far East Asia, you will never ever develop your land. We are fighting for Biafra that we may restore our lost dignity. We are fighting for Biafra that black people all over the world may be set free at last. We are fighting for Biafra not that we may have or commence the building of a large empire, not at all. We are asking for a Biafra where we can live and die with a semblance of dignity. Because right now people are dying, but there isn't any dignity. We must stand very tall and very strong to resist our enemies. That thing that we are thinking now that is impossible to accomplish very soon in the state. We must remain resilient. We must remain devoted. We must remain unflappable. We are not going to retreat, not one iota. If at the end of this race there is only one Biafran man and one Biafran woman left, may they continue to expand. They killed us, 5 million of us, after the war. After the war in 1970, we had lost 5 million people. But then we are still the largest ethnic bloc anywhere in the entire Nigeria. Because God is faithful. And at this very critical time, this very Elohim that we worship is not going to abandon us. I'm not saying we're going to fold our hands in prayer and fasting alone. No. We are going to do what we have to do to ensure the survival of our race. An attempt has been made in the past to exterminate us. The British supported the killing and the manslaughter of Biafrans because of crude oil and gas. That when people told Harold Wilson, we can't give to you, this race house belongs to the people, and that was the end of it. And he said, because of that, we're going to kill you. And sadly, Britain still doing something to this very day. A supposedly civilized and advanced country, aiding and abetting the slaughter of an indigenous population because of oil and gas. Therefore, I'm asking all of you to remain very resolute, to remain very strong. Do not allow yourself to become distracted. We have almost won. As Dr. Kusanga said here a short while ago, we have awoken the consciousness of not just ethnic nationalities within Nigeria, but the entire African continent as a whole. We have won the debate. Now is the time for us to restore Biafra. And once that is done, believe you me, everybody will come to Biafra and to pay homage. Or should I say pilgrimage in this case. So we are winning. Many are dying, I know that to be true. A few days ago, we lost the mother of our very, very formidable barrister, Okorafor. But that is not going to stop us, because I know that they will kill them in the end. Biafra will come. And Biafra is very, very close. I want our people to develop the mindset of their parents. Never say die. There were a group of people called the Mau Mau in Kenya. There were a group of people called the Kumeku in our land. These are the two people that forced the British to stand still, go and ask anywhere. And the remnants, of course, of Benin Kingdom, we must acknowledge them because they also fought very gallantly as well. We did not fight because we didn't like the Bible that the white man brought to us or the whiskey that accompanied it. We fought because we are free people. The time has come for us to restore the kingdom of heaven upon the face of this earth. The time has come for Biafra to be re-established. The time has come for Black Africa to be free. The time has come for every Black person, regardless of where you are in the world, to stand tall and say, I am an African. Remain very strong, remain very resolute, and may people be guided and be with you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Before you go, I would like to show you the newspapers in Kenya, in Nairobi. You are very far, you must be missing some of these papers. The Standard. Can we, production team, I'm on the ground now. The Standard newspaper in Kenya, the headline here is not only Biafra, where we still have. The only problem in Kenya, we don't have the crisis of dividing a nation. We have the Standard newspaper said, who failed who? The blame game. That's the headline. But one key thing that stands out in the newspapers, while we are struggling to put Africa in order, is His Excellency President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta last night opened one of the biggest ports in Africa. You talked of Nigeria having oil, but it doesn't have even petrol at the petrol station. Jesus Christ. But President Uhuru Kenyatta, while yesterday opening the the port in Lamu, he said this port will connect the east to the west, east to the north, east to the south. That is a thing that we have here now in Africa, in East Africa. We want to thank President Uhuru Kenyatta again for putting infrastructure, for people to get in a car and drive, take 10 days and arrive in Anambra. Is it Anambra? Yes.
That's the right.
Yes. I have been sent so many messages from Dubai. People say in Anambra, they are married there. Kenyans, Nigerians have married a lot of our people from East Africa.
And I hope one day for us, my children, also one of them, my daughter, is married to an Igbo person from Onitsha.
Wonderful. We know how to take care of our wives.
We are united. Another newspaper says good things about Africa. The Lamport rose to life with the president is good. You can see it.
Yes, yes.
And that's it. And another good thing in Africa, I'm looking for Africa. Stories. For your information, I am a Liverpool supporter for 43 years.
Like myself.
Oh, I don't know. My God. Thank you very much. It looks like we are all Liverpool here. But the others don't get worried. We are now struggling to liberate Africa. Don't forget your local team in Biafra. And don't forget
Absolutely. Rangers Football Club is my first love. And Liverpool is the sidekick.
My first team in Uganda is Villa Football Club. Villa, then my team in Kenya is AFC Leopards. Then my team in the world is Barcelona.
Wonderful.
I die with the people of Cantona. I like Cantona. And you can now guess why I like Biafra.
Yes, of course.
So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable His Excellency Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of Indigenous people of Biafra. I want to take this opportunity to thank you and to tell you that my television station is will be linked directly to every system of the Biafran people, everywhere. We shall today make a formidable move. I am not here for money. I never asked for a penny from any Nigerian in order to broadcast. I started broadcasting with passion. I have already told you one of my daughters is married to a man from Onitsha. And this man comes to my house, tells me the story. You know, in London, he tells me the story. I have been a supporter of the people. That Obasanjo there, you see walking free. It was me demonstrating at the Nigerian embassy for Abacha to release it with Chief Abdullah.
Yes.
I wanted them released together with Osuji, who is the president of ICC. We used every Friday for Obasanjo to have freedom. But when Obasanjo came out, he looks for money. Anywhere you find Obasanjo, you know he's looking for money. I'm sorry to tell Nigerians, may God bless me for being truthful and honest. There's no conflict. There's no conflict Obasanjo has ever solved in Africa. Even when we went for Zimbabwe Troika in Melbourne House, Obasanjo signed with Australia to expel Zimbabwe from the Commonwealth. That's the man you have. But thank you very much,
Yes.
God. Jesus Christ, hold us. Don't tire. Keep on the struggle. Keep fighting. Keep democratically sending the message. You need a referendum. Peaceful ways. Don't give up. May God hold your hand. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes. Viewers, this station, therefore, is for Africa, by Africa, with Africa. Long live Africa. Ciao.
We need peace, we choose freedom. We need peace, we choose freedom. There was a nation living in peace and unity. Yeah. They are people with love and harmony. Oh, yeah. They saw greatness rise up to its purity. With another people of different culture, a different heritage, bias and oppressive. Oh, I see a nation from trigger of Africa, rising with strength and might and power. In due time, nobody gonna praise us. Rather, you all gonna embrace her. With your flag, with your flag, with your flag, with your flag. Oh, yeah. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our home. Oh yeah, Biafra is our home. Oh, it's my home. Yeah, Biafra is our home.
I reminisce way back 1967. Death toll on the blood couldn't count them even. Mama screaming, child squealing, pops on the ground. 2.5 years, over 3 million's gone. Why? Cause we asked for our freedom, and we're going back to our sovereign kingdom. They shut us down when we cried, the world said nothing. Sitting back in the crib, watching our suffering. Should I talk about the planes dropping shells like rain? Suka had the first taste of a hero's blood. Abaganazo Bunigwe was stronger than flood, but the joke is too strong and fought them off on the chart. Thought the bloodshed's gone, then it came a king. 216 and the massacre, it started again. So bloody name, I couldn't cry tears. Blood dripping down my eyes, water in my veins. We died trying to fight the cause and we're trying to break him. It's our freedom, but the world was against us.
Wave your flag over Africa. Welcome people of Biafra. Wave your flag over all the world. See those people of Zion is here.
It is the nation that the Lord has chosen for the people of Zion. It is the nation that the Lord has chosen for the people of Zion.
We need peace, we choose freedom. We need peace, we choose freedom. Hey. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our home.